Hey everyone, welcome to Tour Validated. My name is DJ Lance, joined by Chris McCormick, and it is officially Open Week, but not just any Open, the 150th Open, and we have a very special guest joining us, a man who is responsible for some of the coolest limited edition merchandise that we all look forward to during major weeks. TaylorMade Golf's product and graphic designer, Dennis Kennedy. Thank you for being here.
Thank you guys, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, big Open, 150th, St. Andrews Old Course, the birthplace of golf. But let's start very basic here. Let's learn a little bit about you. Where are you from?
I'm from San Diego. Born and raised San Diego. After I graduated high school, I went out to your neck of the woods and graduated from Arizona State University in Tempe. But I couldn't deal with the heat, so I moved back. And moved to LA out of college, and then a few years later got connected with a friend of a friend that had an opening at TaylorMade, and I really didn't play golf. I knew of the sport. I'm probably just as a sports fan as I am. And then just kind of was open to the opportunity and took the interview and accepted the offer. And I've been there for 6.5 years. So I play golf now.
Play golf now? Is this is the golf game anything to be aware of, or are you just the casual rec player that gets out with buddies when he can?
The latter for sure.
Definitely.
I've got 2 young kids at home, so I'm not playing and grinding at the range every day. So those days will come. At least I'd like to think. But I'm out there having fun and playing with those PIX balls. I don't care if I lose 1 or 2. It doesn't. I can go grab another sleeve or 2 back at the office the following day. So. I know golf can be a frustrating sport, but I try my best to not take it all too seriously when I'm out there.
That's the best approach to have for sure. And the losing of the ball, we refer to it in the industry as product seeding. So It's not a lost ball. It's just product seeding on the golf course.
Yeah, well, I'm good at that. Yeah, they'll finding a lot of PIX balls around the local courses here.
There's nothing wrong with that.
The PIX Ball specifically, your product placement's a little different than other people's product placement because you had some significant involvement in the process of the balls that you're losing. So talk a little bit about that. So I brought some PIX balls. I know kind of a little bit about this, but tell us about this process to coming up with something like this.
Yeah, I mean, losing the balls is very strategic. I'm doing it completely on purpose. Well, the way it all started is this was about a 1.5 year process from when we started the conversations with Ricky Fowler. And we sat with him a couple of times, and they were in person, they were through email, through video conferencing, any number of ways, because, we're on either side of the coast, or coast to coast with him. So it started out with just design sketches and kind of seeing what he liked and what we liked and we thought could be a mass appeal. And he was really, really easy to work with and gave honest feedback and wasn't just a name to attach to a product. He brought the technology into the ball. He was the biggest component of highlighting that orange piece that you see that creates that clear path technology, or the clear path alignment. Originally, I had that orange piece rotating along the seam. So each individual shape, the orange piece would move. So it would ultimately look like it was moving, but it was still a static ball when you looked at it. And he said, what if we highlight the seam there and face those delta shapes towards each other? And ultimately that's what created this awesome ball that we've kind of run with different variations that I think some of you have probably seen over the last couple of years.
Super exciting.
Absolutely.
And it's something we both play. Like, I endorse this product. This is a product that once I started using it, I couldn't stop using it. It actually really helped my putting, my alignment. I always felt like, as someone who uses the line, I never get it the right way. But for some reason, with this alignment aid, the way that it's set up, it's so much easier to line up, and I know when I'm standing over the ball, it's aimed where I want it to be. And then it's just a subtle flex when you get that thing lighten up. My buddies and I call it lighten up. When you get it rolling end over end, it's just those three lines. You got the middle and the two orange ones lighten up, and you know it's a good putt.
Yeah. The only on the green when you can really line it up there, but it's the only ball that I use, and to be completely honest, I was nervous how people would respond to it. Everyone's so accustomed to the generic white ball.
Oh yeah.
Why are we trying to decorate it? What were we just doing this for fun? No, there's some optical technology to this, and the colors that you choose have a big component in that. And whether it's blended into the grass or the environment and it's in, the orange and red colors that we've used in the first generation helped us get to the point of where we are now with this current version.
I think it's also attributed to this kind of new push, this new population of golfers that we've seen kind of come into the game. I mean, they want to be loud. They wear the bright colors. They have the Bluetooth speakers on the golf course. They have the bag jewelry with all of the unique and bright colored head covers. And I mean, everything about it is just more fun, in my opinion. And I mean, having a golf ball that kind of complements the rest of the setup, it just makes sense to me. I mean, I've gravitated to it. I've played, just about anything that's out there, having an opportunity to test and try all kinds of stuff. And I keep going back to the TP5X PIX. It's just been kind of the ball of choice for me. And I mean, I'm not going to lie, I do like the little splash of color on the golf ball. It matches the rest of the fun setup that I have. I'm a head cover guy also, so I appreciate all of it.
Yeah, we've talked about this a lot, where the golf boom, or the COVID golf boom of 2020, and introducing all these new golfers into the market has kind of forced us in a way to reach out and cater to those golfers too. So we have such a larger spectrum of golfers and styles that people can be represented by the ball that they choose. We have our TP5X, the standard white balls. We have the new stripe ball. We have PIX, obviously, and our hot shot products that go along with those PIX designs. So because of those new golfers that are in the market, we really try to create the SKUs that each of them can use.
Yeah, with that golf boom, is that something that you have felt added some pressure to your job, trying to accommodate this new wave of golfers versus just saying, hey, there's a great ball, we can put a logo on it, we can do this. But now we're having to design a whole new ball, one that's going to not only represent that player maybe a little bit more with those loud colors, but also serve a purpose to a golfer who might be more traditional like myself, but still appreciates those alignment aids. And, being able to notice your ball in the fairway a little bit easier is always a nice bonus. But I got to imagine that changes your day-to-day a little bit.
Yeah, I think more and more we're offering more customization, or at least more personalization too. So you can change your ball number, you can add little your company logos, and those are things that we've had for a long time. But broadening that library of options that you can choose, so the traditional golfer can still have some identifying mark on his ball. And I think ultimately on my side is just ultimately thinking about, and I think DJ, you mentioned you used to mark your ball, but with the PIX you don't. I think those are things you think about as well, as trying to listen to those golfers and try to create alignment aids and different markings so they wouldn't have to pick up a Sharpie, right, and put things to the ball. And those are conversations we've had with our tour players, and getting direct feedback from from people in the office that's their main job, is to get those results and test the product. So I don't know if I answered the question completely there, but we are trying to create golf balls and grow that category as much as we can. That's for sure.
Nice. I know. I always look forward to the fun designs that come out as kind of a limited run. The run that you guys did with the mustache, I thought that was great. I thought that was a lot of fun, and I had several buddies of mine that were a little overzealous with stealing those out of my bag when I got a couple dozen in, and I think I ended up only with like a sleeve of those personally, because all my buddies just kind of helped themselves a little bit when they saw that ball. But that was a really fun design.
Funny story about the mustache ball. I think Ricky's well known for growing his mustache throughout the year, just sporadically. And so we had talked about doing that jokingly, and sure enough, we brought it to life. And when I was first sketching out all the different mustache styles to put on the ball, I of course had to put my own. So I ended up putting my own mustache on the poles, and then did like the Fu Manchu and the handlebar and all the others around. And when I first showed it to Ricky, he had a name for every single one of them. It was just hilarious. He doesn't just rock the mustache. He knows the styles, and I think he had fun with that design too.
Yeah, that's a great one. I mean, we can talk golf balls all day. The golf ball, it's just been such a fun thing to see progress over the years. But part of this, I really want to get into the special edition major championship merch and collections that you have a large part in creating, and obviously being such a iconic week. The Open Championship one released today, and it's definitely piquing the interest. I know Chris had a hard time getting his hands on one today, unsuccessfully, and we want to learn a little bit about that. Yeah, I want to learn about that process. I want to know how this even starts. There's just so much detail that goes into these bags, head covers, everything.
Yeah, it's almost like a history lesson of not only the Open Championship, but also St. Andrews. I'll let you kind of tell the story, but some of the iconic characters that are brought to life on this bag and the head cover collection is pretty special. I'm curious to hear kind of how that materialized.
Yeah, so all four majors, I've been designing the major bags since 2016. And in previous years, before I was with TaylorMade, we had just focused on creating a logo lockup and just using that as a commemorative patch. And then they had thought about start really designing these bags specifically for the events, and each bag would be different. So all four majors would have their own style. And in the last 6.5 years, we've tried to make them better and better, and we have received a great response from them. So it just keeps pushing us to come up with fun designs, but meaningful ones, and hide Easter eggs in there for people to see once they get up close and personal with them. And I think that's what I get most enjoyment of. And then specifically with the Open Championship, it being the 150th anniversary, we had to do something great with this one. There's no question about it. Not that we don't take every one of them seriously, but this is one that we really had to focus on. And we utilized our design team out in the UK, out in Basingstoke. We have a headquarters out there, and used some of the designers, Nathan Patience and Linda Malzani, to help both get some true inspiration from St. Andrews. Just because I've never been there, so I rely on the Google machine to help me,
sure.
Wikipedia to help me with all the research and information. So they were a big asset in coming up with this design, and ultimately kind of carrying this through with the head covers as well.
So, favorite Easter egg that you put into this design. I mean, there's a dozen of them between the head cover or the head covers and this bag design. What was kind of your favorite that you were just kind of like, yep, that turned out really cool. I love this.
Um, I mean, I wouldn't say my favorite, but one that I had to bring back. So in Carnoustie, I think that was that 2018. The last time the Open Championship was in Scotland, the whole lining was a unicorn. And if people don't know, Scotland's national animal is the unicorn, and we found that to be hilarious, but also pretty cool. And so we threw it in the lining, and we thought, let's bring it back, because it's such a cool piece, and we have the fighting unicorn on one of those top valuables pockets. And I guess, and you mentioned like the research that goes into this. It's been hours and hours creating mood boards and figuring out the right storylines to push with these things. And it turns out that the reason the unicorn was adopted as the national animal with Scotland was that it was the only creature or animal that could beat a lion, and England's national animal is the lion. So,
that's so neat. I mean,
yeah,
the Easter egg whole thing, that whole concept gets me excited. I love major championship Mondays, TaylorMade releases, the bag, all the merch, and then they give you the Easter eggs, and you get to go through and learn a little bit about what inspiration went into this bag. So this conversation for me has been a long time coming. I've always wondered this stuff, but that was something that I didn't know until today when I started doing the research on the bag prior to meeting with you. Is the unicorn. I had no idea about that. So like Chris said, it really is a history lesson. You learn a lot about it, and all the little details on this bag are just so neat. It's incredible.
We start this process about a year and a half in advance, and so just fun fact, we're already done with 23's bags, all 4 of them.
Oh wow!
From US Open now to Open Championship. I mean, you guys have done amazing stuff previously, but these last 2 have been very impressive. You've nailed it. So
a
year and a half, and that's from like concept sketching. That's starting with research and building out local facts, the course details, just things about the region, what connects most with locals. I think for me, I try to get at least one thing that connects to locals only. In the Royal St. George's bag last year, the one that Colin won, I have No Name Street, which is this small street. I think it's only like 100 feet long, but it's a local thing that only they would know about it. And, just threw that on the bag handle. And it's subtle enough that when you see it from far away, you would never notice that detail, but all the Easter eggs are that, very apparent once you kind of walk up and kind of turn the bag 360 degrees.
That's too cool.
So with this bag, what's the Easter egg that ties to the locals?
Let's see.
Is it the RNG? That'd be my guess.
Well, diving into all of them, I think the best local one is right above the unicorn where it states to let it rest.
Yeah.
And the course, and that's a direct quote that they use to let the course rest on Sundays. So unless it's a championship like the Open Championship or a major tournament, there is no golf being played on Sunday. It's public access, so families can come out and enjoy the course and walk the grounds, which is just quite cool. And they've done that for a very long time. And I think it originally went back to no golf on Sundays because of the Sabbath. Like they didn't want people playing golf on Sunday for that reason. And now they keep those same traditional values and having the family get together and enjoy the course. And I thought that was an important play to the locals who actually go there probably, I don't know, on a weekly basis, or if families come for the weekend, they'll live out of town. But that was the local play on that side.
That's awesome.
Incredible. That is incredible.
I love it. And Sunday's probably my most popular golf day.
I know, right?
Yeah, and I am rocking and rolling Monday through Friday, and then Saturday is usually a catch-up day. Sunday's the golf day.
Sunday, I need to start resting more. I need to take that. Maybe go have a picnic on a golf course instead of going and making a bunch of bogeys and showing up frustrated on Mondays. Maybe that's the new play.
Yeah, if somebody invites you to go to St. Andrews and you show up on a Sunday with your set and you're not playing golf.
Can't make any bogeys if you don't play. So
yeah, that's right.
I mean, bogey free every Sunday. You're going to be happy on Mondays. That's going to be maybe
DJ,
something I start to live by.
They'd let us up to have a picnic at the north or at the upper at Whisper Rock on Sunday.
It's pretty busy, I think. I might have a tough time.
Think we could swing that?
I don't know if picnics are very big at Whisper Rock. So something to pitch maybe, but we will see. But that was incredible. I think the detail on this bag, one of them that I really liked was obviously the St. Andrews clock is so iconic on the clubhouse there. But the fact that you went a step further and set the clock to 150 for the 150th, I think I was trying to pick up on all these details, and I'm just like, how do they do this? So a year and a half in advance, is this like pen to paper? Like I'm scribbling on some, you just show up on okay, it's a year and a half out, it's time to start scribbling on some paper and pulling ideas, or how does this even begin?
I mean, it seems like the process gets longer and longer. I've already started to think about 24, to be honest with you. And I think it's the longer that we have, I think the better to really get it right. We've done collaborations in the past. We did one in 2020 with the San Francisco Giants. And when we do things like that, it takes a lot longer. So if we have an idea or a concept in mind that is just one that the entire executive team likes, the rest of the design team and accessories team wants to move forward with, we have to have enough time and our lead time to create these bags and head covers. And there's a reason why it takes so long, because we're making so many and the factory needs to be able to have time to make them. So ultimately giving us more time to do that is beneficial. But yeah, the process just starts with, like I said, using the Google machine, finding images and going to Wikipedia. And but even going further than that, I try to find club pros and local resources and I've leaned on friends and family that have been to some of these places that have a far better expertise than I do with some of these areas. But yeah, like I said, we take it seriously. We want to make these as cool and connective as possible. And then ultimately it gets down to pencil sketching, and then we bring it in the computer and we start creating the tech packs and start creating different concepts. And we try to generate 5 to 10 different concepts. Usually out of those 10, we have probably 3 really solid. And some of the times those are minus the Easter eggs, because those are things that we could probably add in later on as kind of get further down the process. But then we present them to our executive team and kind of give them our pitch on what we think would work best, and lean on their expertise for what they think that they want to see and what we should try to push that year. And then the sampling comes together. We create the tech packs and the first bag samples come in, and sometimes it's a total mess, and sometimes we hit it on the first try. But it all depends on how tight and detailed those tech packs are. And then ultimately, you just try to chip away at it. You just, hammer and chisel and just try to just make it into a masterpiece after every sample that comes in.
How many samples do you typically see before you get from concept to final production bag?
Ideally, it's usually two. In a perfect world, the longer that we have, we could potentially see a third. But by the time we're at three, we pretty much know what we want, and it's easy to show the rest of the team and figuring out the plan that we need. As far as head covers go, those are much quicker turnaround times. We have 6 to 8 week turnaround times on those samples.
Oh, wow.
But bags, you can imagine, are just significantly bigger, so they take longer to create. They're all hand done too. So, and these bags get more and more detailed every year. So we're constantly researching different materials and different executions to make these bags different from the years prior. So all of those things take into that time, and a bag you can usually take a few months to see those first samples. So that eats up the yearly time that we have to get these designs finalized.
So with this process, have you ever done some research and it's gotten through all the steps to where you've gotten a sample and it's been a fact or something that might not actually be real? You just read it online and someone had put it and you were like, oh my gosh, that's not something that I can even put on a bag, because you find out it's not real?
I don't, well, every bag has to go through legal first.
And the internet doesn't lie, DJ. When you're
Googling, I've heard the internet lies every once in a while. I was just curious if you've never gotten a bag.
If it's on Wikipedia, if it's on Google, it's got to be real.
Yeah. Wikipedia, I remember in grade school was such a reliable cited source, right? Teachers 100%. Hated when you put Wikipedia in there.
100%. Little copy and paste out of Wiki. It's no big deal.
Those are the days. Feel sorry for the kids now.
Yeah. So we have a filtering process. And I think that's ultimately like having time to really digest what we're putting into the bag and making sure that the story that we're trying to tell makes sense, and that we can, all of it is okay to use, because we want to be respectful of the, the areas that these tournaments are in, and the courses that it's being played at. Because ultimately, like, if Augusta is actually a perfect example, they are very strict on what you can and cannot have on that bag. I've heard. Believe it or not, and people have probably wondered why hasn't anyone done a green and yellow bag? Well, you can't. They won't allow it.
So Augusta's got to be a really hard one for you, because you're limited in your resources. I mean, there's tons of resources you want to pull from, but you can't.
Right. Yeah. So they're very protective of their brand, which they can be. I mean, they're like, you can make it, but you just can't bring it in. So we've had to get very creative. And I think ultimately, one of my favorite bags, when we first introduced the caddy design, and it's just the classic all white bag with the touches of green that you see in the caddy jumpsuits. And then hiding the Easter eggs, in white, or they're tonal, I should say.
Right.
To have more fun with it.
Masters one was one you did under the handle, right? You did something under the handle with a palm tree, right? That was
this year. So off of the fourth hole, there's actually one palm tree on the entire course, the course grounds. And I thought that was one of those really cool things. And I feel like I'm running out of storylines with Augusta. So we're hoping for TaylorMade guys to get some wins and have some new stories to tell. And but it's a challenge that we welcome, right? It's we have a lot of fun creating these, and like that it's tough at times. but yeah, it's Augusta is one of those big ones that is very strict on what you can use and what you can't. But yeah,
I would imagine they would be relatively particular to work with as to what they want televised and what they want representing their brand on any manufacturer's merch.
of course. Yeah.
So what is how do you differentiate what goes on the bag versus what continues the story on the head cover? Because there's a ton of Easter eggs that are obviously incorporated into the bag design. And then like with the 150th Open here, we've got Tom Morris's pocket watch that's on the head cover. Super, super cool design. And just how do you continue the storytelling, and how do you differentiate bag from head covers?
Ultimately, we want it to be a complete set. I mean, we don't want there to be any sort of dissonance with the head covers to the bag. I mean, in some cases there might be a few opportunities to do that. Like the US Open, for example, for Tory, we had their surfboards, so they had some like a very bright, colorful head covers from driver all the way through rescue. And that was a different palette than what you saw in the bag, but it still looked really great together. But ultimately I think when we start thinking about the concepts that we think will work best for each individual major, we want to have a story to tell. We want to have something that we can explain in the bag as the big centerpiece, and then the head covers are just the topping. And as far as Open goes, we had this storyline of the old golf attire, what did Tom Morris wear when he played golf? And he had the tweed jacket and the vest, these knicker pants, something we would never wear, right? There's no
formal attire by today's standards.
Yeah, there's no performance benefit for wearing what he did. But it's so with that in mind, with that kind of overarching story to tell, we can bring that into the head covers, so utilizing the plaid and the tweed and pull from, the different pieces of his whole look. And the pocket watch was a big one. And so had the pocket that's open, so it looks like the pocket watch isn't going inside it. His whole jacket and tie and the button vest, and then carried all the way through the putter and blade covers too.
The putter covers are pretty cool for this as well. I really like what we did with I'm a mallet guy. I've putted with a Spider since the very first generation Spider was designed and released. I mean, that thing, looking at some of the modern designs now, looks like just a dinner plate on the end of a shaft. But I've been a Spider guy since the beginning, and absolutely love this mallet design.
The mallet. So Linda Melzani actually created that 150 lockup, and it's brilliant because the UK consists of 4 nations. You have England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. And she grabbed the 4 flowers that represent each of those nations. And with England's being the Tudor rose, Wales, the daffodil, Scotland is the thistle, I believe. And then surprisingly, Northern Ireland is the shamrock. And just wove them into the 150. So we have that in the bag on one of the valuable pockets and then we wanted to carry it over into the the mallet cover. And then with blade, we have the fighting unicorns, and to just kind of have some difference there and have a completely different, each head cover all the way through driver is different in a way, but still all connective.
Yeah, That's incredible. I've accumulated some over the years. None this year. It's gotten harder and harder to get these head covers, which is a compliment to you. But as a consumer, it is not easy. And Chris and I are in the golf space, so it's harder than ever to get these head covers. And you know, I have some like you were talking about here. This is U.S. Open. We've got some of the Masters here, still in the package, not for sale, but in the package. Last year's Open. So some like really cool ones that we've accumulated over the years. But like I've said, it's gotten cooler and cooler down the road, and it's fun to watch. I'm excited about it. But do you have a project? Doesn't have to be just golf bags or head covers, but is there a favorite one for you that you've done this far?
It's hard not to say the major tournaments because we have so much creative flexibility with these. Our headliner products, you know, our hard goods, I should say. It's, you know, those are our money makers. So we're hard nosed and trying to figure out what works best. And each of these projects have their own challenges, and I think we welcome them differently, right? Stealth Face was very gratifying to work on, and it just seeing how polarizing a red face is to bring that into the market, and I not talking about that for, you know, until our launch date was hard, you know, not telling family and friends about it, and just knowing that this product was going to just change the golf industry, and I think it's just such a cool piece to be a part of, and I'm happy that I could play, you know, a small role in this carbon wood age that we're entering.
Do you get excited seeing this? I'm sorry, Chris. Like when you see it on TV, like you see a red face on TV and you're like, that's kind of cool. Or see someone playing a piece. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I think seeing these things on TV, but not only just on TV, but all over the world is some. When I first became a designer, I didn't think that far ahead. I didn't think that I was going to be working on things that people were going to be playing in Scotland. You know, it's so cool, and it humbles me every day. I'm you know, proud to be able to work on those types of projects, and you know, we have so many more in store. It's I love seeing it on every week. We've got you know, more and more people playing and talking about it. So,
and the instant brand recognition when you see a player and they have the camera angle that kind of pans around to, the player at address, and you immediately know that they are swinging a stealth driver, that they are hitting a PIX ball. I mean, it's unmistakable. And I mean, that's definitely a competitive advantage when you're looking at a lot of the other competitor drivers that are out there, and you immediately know, oh yeah, he's playing a stealth. I mean, there's no denying it, no mistaking it. So, I mean, that is a brilliant piece of, you know, very subtle advertising, just having the contrast, like you were talking about, that bright red face that just sits there and goes, this is a TaylorMade driver. No question about it.
Yeah. I mean, that's a huge part of, you know, our design thinking is coming up with ideas that will be visible on TV. I think it's, you know, a lot of people are influenced by what the best players in the world are playing, you know, and especially kids. And I thought it was such a cool moment seeing Tiger play with his son. And I think he was the first professional to play the stealth in a tournament. Yep. And seeing him play with his son and pull out the stealth was just incredible. And that really just like, it just got the ball rolling with our launch. It was I think it was just a few weeks later.
And I'm involved with a lot of our product testing, and I work with some of our R&D teams, and we have a partnership with Gene Parenti, who does all of the robot testing for pretty much every OEM. So we get a little behind the curtain sneak peek at a lot of these products before they come to market. and seeing Stealth and watching some of the ball speed numbers that it was putting up, it makes you go, oh, wow, that's different. And hitting that thing in the center of the face compared to a lot of the other drivers for 22 and seeing that 1 to 3 miles an hour faster ball speed, you go, yep, that's something special. Carbon wood is legit.
Yeah, and not everything is just a marketing play. Like there's real. And I mean, when we say we've been working on this for 20 plus years, it's true. And this is a feat that we've been working hard to get to. And just personally, I had worked on this project for 3 years, and just knowing that some of our lead engineers have been just hacking away at this idea and going through failed prototypes and finally getting to this point is got to feel even more gratifying to them. There are just so many people involved in bringing Stealth to the market, and I think it's just important to celebrate everybody that has been a part of it.
Oh, they've got a really good reason to celebrate. That's for sure.
Yeah. Do you feel more pressure on something like the Stealth? You know it's big. You know it's going to be big. We're introducing carbon club face. 20 years of work has gone into this, but you've got to work on what this thing's going to look like and make sure it's appealing to the consumer, because a lot of it is going to be based on that and it's going to be recognizable. But do you feel more pressure on a project like this than, say, a major championship bag, or is it, the same kind of energy goes into both?
100% into our headliner products. That's where we make our money. The major products are fun.
That's probably a fun project.
Yeah, they're different. They're drastically different in the approaches that we take. There's so many things that go into creating our hard goods, and you have to take them a different approach with those. And we have so many brilliant people at TaylorMade that create and are part of the design process with those. So yeah, you have to take it, very seriously, as you would imagine. But as far as pressure goes, sure. Yeah. You're constantly trying to improve. We're on this, yearly cycle. We have a new product coming out every year. So we don't want to just re-release the same technology. We have engineers that work tirelessly to come up with, new ways to find just a few more miles an hour in ball speed, just different aspects in the design that can improve each year. And that's the challenging part. Their jobs are a lot harder than mine. My job is to basically give these clubs an identity, bring the aesthetics to them and have the right, the branding and decaling and all the things that brings it to life. The shaping and technology is all on our industrial and engineering teams.
Well, the thing with Stealth that's really cool is, people come to expect a certain level of performance, a certain sound, a certain feel when they associate the performance characteristics to a TaylorMade driver. But shelf appeal is a huge one. And when I'm working with clients, working with competitive players, tour players, the first impressions that I was getting from this particular design is it looks fast, it looks badass, it has a great shelf appeal. And you walk in and you're looking at these rows and rows of drivers in a big box retail store, and it just pops. It comes out as saying, this is new, this is different. And like we were talking about earlier, there's no mistaking that bright red face. It's just it's a conversation piece, if nothing else. People want to talk about it, they want to hit it.
Yeah, I know that, like, if one of your buddies had a Stealth driver in their hands and they brought it to the first tee, you're going to ask to hit it.
100%.
100%. I think that's a really cool part of, and you've done something different when you've got people talking about it in that way, and just getting people running to, the golf Galaxy or PGA Superstore or whatever, just to pick up the new Stealth.
Yeah, there's not a ton of products out there that people walk into a retailer specifically asking for by name. And driver category is definitely the biggest one. And the push that we've seen, in this particular launch in general, there was so much buzz around it and so much curiosity from just the golfing population. And introducing the carbon wood, it was a home run in my opinion, as far as just creating that buzz and that curiosity of, this thing looks fantastic. I want to hit it. I have to hit it.
I think we touched on this a little bit earlier. As a player with a high handicap, even I can tell a difference. Like, I can tell how much different it feels. The sound and feel are kind of one and one and the same, but I can notice the difference. I feel it. And I can tell that my distance numbers are benefiting from it as well. So I think that's one thing that as a high handicap player, noticing the difference between my clubs and even golf ball. When I first started with TaylorMade, had heard stories about tour athletes that know exactly what groove they're hitting their irons on. And I just thought that was just absurd.
Right.
So if I can, at any point in my journey of golf, understanding and feeling what they feel is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, this has been a fun year for TaylorMade, not only in the major championship merchandise, but obviously the age of the carbon wood and that whole evolution. When it came to this specific driver, who was it that was like red face? Like, where in there? Because like me personally, I'd be like, I want a murdered out driver would look so cool. People gravitate towards that, and I know you offer that if you were to do like the My Stealth. But for the ones that are on the shelf, like Chris was saying, that appeal is so important. It's going to stick out. Who was like red?
I think it initially started at was just like touches of red. I think I think at first we were a little more hesitant. So, going like traditional darker faces. And then as we put concepts together, people were like, let's do it. And that's out of my hands. I present the concepts and allow the executive team and the smarter people in the room to make that decision. But I'm so happy we did, and we've seen a great response because of it.
Yeah, 100%.
I was kind of told in the marketing pitch and launch for that product that red has just always been associated with speed, with fast. And you think about the Formula One, you think about Ferrari, you think about the American classic Corvette. I mean, red is just speed, it's just fast, and that driver definitely delivers.
We joke, like, we wanted, because of the Stealth name, we just wanted to murder this thing out. Just be black on black. You can't even see the branding and the logos and things, and maybe just the face was what popped. But we know that shelf appeal, we got to get some color pops on the sole and give it a little bit of life. I think we did a great job, the rest of the team, in creating the logo and all the decaling and emphasizing the different features on the sole there.
It works. And I know we're getting close on time, Dennis. And like I said, I don't want to keep you longer than the time that you had allotted for us. Do you have a social handle or anything that if people want to reach out or want to follow you and see kind of some of these creative components you have working? Got a plug for us?
Yeah, at the Crafty Creative, I utilize everything that I've worked on with TaylorMade as we launch them. I try to get in a little detail and kind of the behind the scenes type stuff. And I think a lot of people gravitate towards that process. So yeah, anything I've ever worked on goes on to my Instagram account, and I'm brand new to TikTok. Same name, the Crafty Creative. I have no idea what I'm doing on that platform. So
I say stay in touch with DJ. He's in the process of cracking the TikTok code there for us.
No dancing yet, but yeah.
Oh no, a lot of golf swings. There we go. Yeah, stick to what we know.
Yeah, exactly.
So definitely, anybody watching this, check him out at The Crafty Creative. It has been a great follow. I followed you for quite some time. I've been very interested in getting to know more. It's been an absolute pleasure to spend almost a full hour with you. I know we're pulling you away. You probably have bag designs for 2024 you need to be working on right now, but we appreciate the hour of time. And as always, make sure to like, subscribe, stay tuned for more. We're going to hopefully do more of these interviews. Maybe we'll bring them back as these bags start to launch more. I mean, this has been really fun to learn more. We appreciate your time.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Dennis, thank you so much. And we will definitely talk to you again soon.
Okay. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.